We're to pick six in our 3-round mock drafts, and that's the Las Vegas Raiders. They have the second most salary cap space in the league, but they also have some of the most attractive free agents in the league. Where will they spend that money, and who can they get in the draft to make this team better in 2025? I'm Jeremy Green of NFLDraft.net and ESPN Radio Asheville, and this is a 3-round mock draft for the Las Vegas Raiders.
I get knocked down, I get back up.
The Sportsocracy.
And I'm unapologetic.
With the Raiders, it starts and ends with quarterback. The good thing for them is in this little simulation, the Giants fell in love with Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward sitting on the board. So I'm not even going to worry with suspense, because if this were to happen, I think the Raiders would run to the podium and at number 6 take Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami. Look, this kid's had an unbelievable career in college football, leading passer in the history of college football, high passing grades in terms of deep ball. He can do a little bit of everything. The problem is that I'm not sure he's elite at anything. Now, the beauty of this is that I have seen Pete Carroll work with this quarterback before, because I think the high side on Cam Ward is Russell Wilson, and he doesn't come with any of the weird personality quirks. I think this would be an absolute home run, A+ for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now they would just have to worry about in free agency getting weapons around him, maybe add another one in the draft. I'm going to look to do that here in just a minute, and focus on re-signing Malcolm Kuntz, who I think is an absolute dog. Trevon Moehrig, who has been a vastly improved player for the Raiders and would fetch a pretty high number in free agency, or just adding pieces that fit what Pete Carroll does. Number 6, I'm going Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami. The Raiders get their franchise quarterback, and they're the luckiest team in the draft. The Raiders' next pick is at number 37 overall, and I'm getting a weapon for Cam Ward. He had an incredible relationship with Xavier Restrepo at Miami. I'm going to find him a better version of that. Pick number 37, Tez Johnson, wide receiver out of Oregon. This kid was absolutely uncoverable at the Senior Bowl. I couldn't stop watching him because he was so damn fast that nobody could even get a hand on him. He was constantly open, which led me to go back and watch the tape. I think this kid is without a doubt the best slot receiver in this class. And I think he's one of the 6 or 7 best receivers in the class overall, and has one of the highest ceilings because he's such a good deep threat, because he's so fast, and he's been really good in his career against man coverage. It's really hard to jam him off the slot, because if you get beat by that first step, and he's got an elite first step, he is absolutely going to cook you. Contested catch rate was not as high as I would like it to be. He was open a lot, but the drop rate, only 3.5%, which is one of the lowest in the class. Number 37 overall, Tez Johnson, wide receiver out of Oregon, to be a new best friend for your new quarterback, Cam Ward. Moving on to the 3rd round, the Raiders have 2 third-round picks. In this, I'm going to assume that Malcolm Kuntz is allowed to walk. I'm going to assume that Trevon Moehrig is allowed to walk. I don't love the fit with DJ Reed, but I think he's somebody that the Raiders could pursue. I think they're going to invest money into the defense. Try to grow the offense in a more organic way with draft picks and really fixate your money into the defense, which allows you to take a couple high upside but somewhat raw players. We start at number 68, Azareye'h Thomas from my Florida State Seminoles. Look, I love this kid. I think he is an absolute spark plug. He's just not refined enough for me to trust as a no-doubt day one number 1. That's why I have him lower than a lot of other people do. I've seen him go as high as the back end of the first round, and to me, that's absolute insanity. He needs a lot of work, but the raw of him is so good. And if you go back and watch a few of the ACC tapes, specifically against Cal and SMU, I thought he had really high-level games on a defense that was just flat-out bad. That's one of the things that makes him such a tough evaluation. Teams avoided him to a large degree because they didn't have to. Fentrell Cypress on the other side just never – he was constantly in a state of failure to launch, and he never showed me what he was supposed to be. Azareye'h Thomas was the best player on that Florida State defense, but it was so bad that he's a really tough evaluation. I think the kid will be a good corner in the NFL. Start out as your 2, develop into a true number 1. Might take a year or 2, but would be a good value picker. At 68, Azareye'h Thomas, cornerback out of Florida State. Now, as I said, I think in this scenario, Malcolm Kuntz will be allowed to walk. He didn't play a snap last year. I don't know exactly what the market on him is going to be, but I feel like somebody's going to pay him based off what he did in 2023, and I'm not so sure that the Raiders are going to do that. So I look to find a replacement that's kind of a Malcolm Coots clone. Round 3, pick 73, Kyle Kennard, edge rusher from South Carolina. This kid's really tall, 6'5", good body frame, pass rush win rate's pretty good. It's not elite, but then you watch the tape and realize he didn't have to win because that South Carolina defense was so damn good that all he had to be was really a situational pass rusher, which he did really, really well. 10 sacks last year for South Carolina, 23 hurries, hit the quarterback an extra 6 times. I think this kid will be a really good situational pass rusher in the NFL. I don't know if he'll ever hold up well enough against the run to be a 3-down player, which is why I don't have him as high as some others do. I have him falling into either the late 2nd round, beginning of the 3rd round, because the pass rush skills are just so intriguing. This is assuming they don't re-sign Malcolm Koonce because there would be no reason to have both, because they do almost exactly the same thing. This is one of my favorite players in this draft class because I know his floor is so good that he's going to be able to get to quarterbacks. And he was successful in 2 different destinations. Kyle Kennard, edge rusher out of South Carolina, here in the 3rd round to the Las Vegas Raiders. Do you like these picks? Do you hate these picks? Do you just want to call me a big mulleted jackass? You can do that in the comments. If there's a player you'd like to ask about how they fit with the Raiders, what I think about a player with the Raiders, anything like that, I answer all those comments. Feel free to put those in there. We appreciate you checking us out. We'll be live next week, Indianapolis, Indiana, at the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine, and it's all leading up to the big day. We'll be there live from Radio Row. 2025 NFL Draft in Titletown, Green Bay, Wisconsin. You'll be able to find it all right here. I'm at ESPN Draft Nerd Jeremy Green from NFLDraft.net and ESPN Radio Asheville, and this has been a 3-round mock draft for the Las Vegas Raiders.
I'm unapologetic. Cancel, yeah, you can try. You can't cancel what's been tonight. I ain't been had a shit, no silver spoon inheritance. Tired of trying to be what